Thank you very much, Aditya ji. You've given a mic to a politician. You really think she's going to leave it that quickly? No, but since we are actually borrowing cricketing parlance, I realize that I'm the opening batsman. तो मुझे केवल पहले 15 ओवर खेलने हैं ढंग से, pitch set करनी है, and then I'm going to leave it to the real movers and the shakers of the industry like Kali Puri and Rubika Liaquat, who I know you're waiting for with bated breath. So we're going to keep it short, but we'll try to keep it as impactful as possible. Such a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, Mr. Anurag Batraji, for this invite. Before I begin, I must tell you some appeal of wisdom from my own life. When you lose your mother, your daughter becomes your mother. So I'm genuinely telling you that, and this is something that I think my poor father is experiencing. As you know, it's an irreparable loss. My heartfelt condolences. But एक बात मैं आपको बता दूं, माँ बाप कहीं जाते नहीं हैं. वो संस्कार बनकर आपकी रगों में दौड़ते रहते हैं और ढाल बनकर आपकी सुरक्षा करते हैं और संस्कार बनकर ढाल बनकर they keep on guiding you in life. So, yeah. Coming back, we talk about gender, law, and newsroom. You know what is common between these three words? Gender, law, newsroom. It all boils down to life. So, in ancient times, when dinosaurs were roaming the earth and I was a young junior in the profession, my senior was very generous. He allowed me to go and argue a bail in one of the trial courts. It was in Patiala House Courts. And I still remember I hobbled in with a big brief. And trial court mein, there is something known as a Nayab court. Nayab court is a police officer who is fixed with that particular courtroom. This gentleman was from Haryana, and he saw me, and so before, in front of the dais, there was this long bench where you could keep your books, you could keep your brief. And imagine this gawky little thing, you know, wide-eyed young junior. शक्ल से पता चल रहा था कि जुम्मा जुम्मा 4 दिन हुए हैं, मोगली को अंडे में से निकले हुए. And he's like, "Re madam," because he wanted to come and keep his files there. He's like, "Re madam, ore no le," which very politely means in Haryanvi, "Madam, please move your stuff." Of course, the madam complied, so I moved my stuff. And then I had to argue, and the judge was very kind, and he granted the bail that day. The moment I finished arguing, there came the time when I had to basically go in the evening and get the order and finish signing. It was the same Nayab court who came to ask me for signatures. And very politely he goes, "Re sir, sign kar de." There was an unconscious gender bias. You see that? The moment you have proved your merit, you're no longer a madam, you become sir. It is a promotion, so to speak. It is an elevation, so to speak. Well, much water has sort of flown under the bridge. The Honorable Supreme Court of India was kind enough to bestow a senior gown on me last year in August. But that sense of that I need to work doubly hard, that I need to shed the madam and become a sir, is always there with me. And I'm telling you, this unconscious bias is not there just in law. It's in life, and unfortunately, it is in the media newsrooms as well. But having said that, then there are these extremely resilient, these extremely triumphant trailblazer warrior women like Megha Prasad ji, like Rubika Liaquat ji, like Kali Puri ji, who's coming, and of course, who can forget those amazing people like Ghazala Amin ji from Doordarshan, who actually brought tremendous grace to news reading. But if I actually talk about what is journalism, well, they say that the pen is mightier than the sword. But let's be honest, it really is important who's wielding that pen, who's holding that pen. And if I talk about journalism, then it is often called the first draft of history. Courts, in some sense, I think, are also the pioneers of history because they interpret the law. And I think that is the commonality between journalism and, of course, my world of judiciary and law. I'll tell you a tale of two journalists. You have a male journalist and you have a female journalist. And on the first day of the job, I'm sure that the male journalist would be asked to go into the field and he will be asked to cover a hard story, a political piece, or an investigative piece. And a female journalist on the other side would be encouraged to do softer lifestyle stories. Correct? I see very vigorous nodding happening with a lot of our female colleagues here. But like I said, this is an unconscious bias that always exists. But luckily, history tells us otherwise. Women in Indian journalism have broken barriers. I've already spoken about Ghazala Minji, but from this stage, I will be doing a great disservice if I do not mention Homi Varyawala, the first Indian female photojournalist who has actually captured some of the most historic and documented these iconic moments of India. And of course, Usha Raiji, a female reporter who fearlessly had covered the social and the political arena of her time. Who can forget Shobhana Bharatiya ji, who has actually the chairperson of the Hindustan Times group, who have proved that women can actually lead from the front and ensure that there is a very, and Hindustan Times is actually the quintessential Delhi paper. My apologies that the list is very long and I'm going to stop here. Otherwise, you will miss the match. Let's talk about the fact that the gender gap, unfortunately, still exists. The statistics are quite shocking. We're in 2025. Can anybody tell me what is the percentage of women in newsrooms globally? I'm not talking just about India. Globally. Any guesses? It's less than 20%. It's less than 20%. And that is quite shocking. When it comes to investigative reporting, when it comes to sort of so-called hard stories, it is still unfortunately very much a male-dominated domain. But what is it that we can do to ensure that this changes? I think first is recruitment. You need to ensure, and this goes for both law and for politics. You have to ensure that you recruit a larger, wide base. It has to be like a pyramid, right? So the second thing you have to ensure is that the dropout rate actually remains minimal. And third is, of course, if you create a larger pool, automatically women will graduate to those leadership roles. But I think something that we need to pay absolutely strong attention to is women's security. If women feel secure, then you automatically ensure that whether it is media or it is law, they feel safe, they feel it becomes a very incentivized place to come and join this fruitful profession. Now, there are many policies. We all know that over the years with Vishakha, there came the sexual harassment at the workplace, the guidelines, the horrific rape case of Bhavri Devi. And when Vishakha actually, this judgment came, Supreme Court was kind enough to interpret in this way. There was no legislation which was occupying the space of workplace harassment or to prevent it. It is a Supreme Court that had to step in and actually ensure that this vacuum, this lacuna in law is taken care of. So kudos to Supreme Court for doing that. And I'm very grateful that Vishakha turned into the POSH Act of 2013. But having said that, while Parliament can make the law and courts can interpret it, the question is it being implemented in our day-to-day lives? For example, Mr. Batra here is, this champion of and a pioneer in the media industry. But the question is, all the subsidiaries of your group, do they have those internal committees which the Vishakha guidelines actually encouraged workplaces to have? Majority of the smaller media houses or even smaller entrepreneurs do not even look at that. If you have a redressal system like a committee, a sexual harassment committee within your organization, that is the first step, because you're ensuring a space, a safe space for women to come and at least put their point of view across. It can be something as small as a graze. It can be as small as a look, as a gaze. But the difference between a gaze and a graze, you need to have that safe spot where a woman can actually tell you. You can't let that gaze deteriorate into a graze. Unfortunately, what happens is we are a society that operates on apathy. चलता है. कितनी बार सुनने को मिलता है, बेटा इतना तो adjust करना ही पड़ेगा. And women who do not adjust, well, the door is always open for them. But no. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 2025. This is the time where we need to actually put our foot down. The door needs to be open only for opportunities, not for survivors. The door has to be shut for perpetrators. When we talk about law, like I said, India has a very robust legal system. हाल ही में भारतीय न्याय संहिता आई है. आप जानते हैं कि उसमें एक पूरा अलग अध्याय बना गया है. A separate chapter has been made for offences against women and children. It has ensured that there is expeditions, you're expediting the way the judiciary is now dealing with sexual offence cases. You have to ensure that the charge sheet is filed in a limited period. The courts have fast-tracked. In fact, now, if you see, there are many examples how it is being implemented on the ground as well. हाल ही में एक 7 महीने की बच्ची के साथ दुष्कर्म हुआ था यूपी में. 80 दिन के अंदर अंदर सज़ा मिल गई. फांसी की सज़ा 80 दिन के अंदर अंदर मिली. इसी तरह कलकत्ता में एक दुष्कर्म हुआ था, एक गैंग रेप हुआ था, जहाँ पर सज़ा जो है अगेन 90 डेज़ के पीरियड के अंदर अंदर मिली. सूरत में हाल ही में एक दुष्कर्म हुआ था, जो चार्जशीट थी, अनहर्ड ऑफ, चार्जशीट 15 दिन के अंदर अंदर कोर्ट्स ने फाइल करी. दिस इज़ फैंटास्टिक. बट हैविंग सेड दैट, मेरी अपनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में एक ऐसी चीज़ हुई जहाँ पर एक बच्ची के साथ दुष्कर्म हुआ, एंड द स्कूल अथॉरिटी स्टेड मम फॉर 5 months. I'm not going to name the school. I do not want to shame anybody. But having said that, it shocked my own conscience. We had to escalate it. When the parents came to me, we had to escalate it with the school authorities, with the cops, with everybody. बाद में पता चला that the actual person, the perpetrator, unfortunately, there were 6 other incidents. We are in the whole process of sorting it out. Luckily, we've been able to get the child some kind of relief. But again, why should a parliamentarian have to step in? The robust legal system exists. What is happening is society is not able to actually match up. And that is where the responsibility befalls on all of us. Number 1, chup mat rahiye. Whether you're in the newsroom, whether you're in the street, whether you're in the courtroom, chup mat rahiye. आपकी चुप्पी हम सबको बहुत भारी पड़ती है. आपकी चुप्पी आपकी लाज नहीं बचा रही, हाँ किसी दूसरे को विक्टिमाइजेशन के लिए एक और अपॉर्चुनिटी ज़रूर दे रही है. चुप मत रहिए. There are enough safeguards to actually protect you. They can only be invoked if you use them. It's like muscles, right? अगर आप इन systems को utilize नहीं करेंगे, then they will be nothing but paper tigers. They will be just absolutely useless. The other thing that I want to talk about is online harassment, which I'm sure both women politicians as well as women journalists face on a regular basis. We do need to have stronger, stricter laws on cyberbullying. I know that we are actually making them. The implementation becomes extremely difficult. But I will also say it begins with the boys. We need to actually concentrate on the social conditioning of the boys, of the men. I'm not villainizing the men, okay? I have been very blessed to actually have wonderful, supportive male family members and friends, and that is one of the reasons why I'm here. But like I said, conditioning में थोड़ी सी difference तो है. बेटी घर लेट आती है, 100 सवाल पूछे जाते हैं. कभी बेटे से पूछा है आज कहाँ थे? 10 बजे क्या कर्फ्यू कभी बेटे पे लगाया है? संध्या के बाद घर पर नहीं आना है, कभी बेटे से पूछा है? अगर ये बेसिक चीज़ें हम अपनी सोशल कंडीशनिंग में करेंगे, I think then I know that we will be able to bring a generational change, a transformative change. As far as India is concerned, And when women are concerned, I'm very glad that we are not talking just about women empowerment. Now we are talking about women-led development. इसका अर्थ क्या है? इसका अर्थ ये है कि सबसे पहले तो हम एक्नॉलेज कर रहे हैं हमसे पहले आई हुई इस पीढ़ी के लिए जिसने ये बहुत कॉमन कर दिया कि घूंघट से निकलकर घर की दहलीज से बाहर जाकर आप रोटी कमा सकते हैं. So first of all, I think a big round of applause to the generation that came before us who actually made sure that women empowerment became a part of our daily rhetoric. But women-led development is a progression in that philosophy. It's a progression in that rhetoric. It is talk about कि महिलाओं के नेतृत्व में आप राष्ट्र के सशक्तिकरण की बात कर रहे हैं. आप ये सुनिश्चित कर रहे हैं कि women are actually affecting policy making. इसके लिए सबसे पहले मुझे लगता है कि 3-pronged एक अप्रोच लेकर आए आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी. सबसे पहले था बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ. एक ऐसा देश जहाँ पर बेटियों को कंजक के रूप में देवियों की तरह पूजा जाता है. कितनी अजीब बात थी कि समाज में ऐसी विकृतियाँ आ गई कि बेटी से जीने का हक ही छीन लिया गया था. अगर पता चल जाए कि गर्भ में बेटी है तो बच्चा गिरा दिया जाता था. गलती से पैदा हो जाए तो कुछ ऐसी जगह थी जहाँ पर उस बच्ची को दूध में जिंदा डुबो के मार दिया जाता था. लेकिन बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ हैज़ बीन ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव. एक दशक में देश की जेंडर सेक्स रेशो में बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा असर पड़ा है. समाज में इस चेंज का लेकिन अर्थ तब तक इफेक्ट नहीं रहता, सशक्तिकरण वास्तविक में नहीं होता अगर आप महिलाओं का इकोनॉमिक एम्पावरमेंट नहीं करेंगे. Like I said, the generation before us made it very normal, very, very common for women to earn their money. But let's be honest, how many of us actually come home and give the money to someone else in the family to manage it? There are not many women who actually know how to do their own taxes. Not many women who know how to do their own savings. Investment is still something who normally women are not interested in or not even encouraged to do on their own. And this is something that we need to change. ये एक ऐसा देश है जहाँ पर बचत तो माँ सिखाती है. वो दादी जो चीनी के जार में पैसे छुपाती है, वो नानी जो रामायण के पन्नों में पैसे छुपाती है. गर्मी की छुट्टियों में उन चोरी के पैसों से कुल्फी फलूदा खाने की मिठास बहुत अलग है. और मैंने तो खाई है. आप में से कितनों ने खाई है? Good, there are some very honest people in the audience. लेकिन कितनी अजीब बात है कि जिस देश में माताओं और बहनों ने बचत सिखाई, ऑर्गेनाइज्ड बैंकिंग से वही सेक्टर वंचित था. एंड प्रधानमंत्री जनधन योजना हैज बीन एब्सोल्युटली ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव इन दिस. 55% of bank accounts which were actually opened in the country belonged to women. And the moment you actually brought them in the organized banking sector, you ensured कि उनके आर्थिक सशक्तिकरण का आपने पहला स्टेप कर दिया है. Then we come to Startup India, Stand Up India. We talk about Mudra Yojana, where 69% of loans were actually taken by women of India. ये मैं क्यों कह रही हूँ? क्योंकि जब हम एंटरप्रेन्योर्स सोचते हैं तो हम बड़ी बड़ी कंपनी सोचते हैं, हम यूनिकॉर्न सोचते हैं, हम नायका सोचते हैं. लेकिन वो आंटी जो आपके मोहल्ले के बगल में बुटीक चलाती हैं, जहाँ आप अपना जाके ब्लाउज स्टिच करवाते हो, या फिर वो आंटी जो आपकी मार्केट के बगल में ब्यूटी पार्लर चलाती हैं जहाँ पे आप 40 रुपए में जाके थ्रेडिंग कराते हो, शी इज़ ऑल्सो एन एंटरप्रेन्योर इन हर ओन लाइफ and in her own right. And that entrepreneur becomes an ecosystem supporting the life of many of the women around. आर्थिक सशक्तिकरण के साथ साथ मुझे लगता है महिलाओं का राजनीतिक सशक्तिकरण बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. इसका इम्पैक्ट मीडिया हाउसेस पे डायरेक्टली पड़ने वाला है. वो इसलिए बिकॉज द मोमेंट यू हैव मोर वुमेन लीडर्स टू इंटरव्यू, यू हैव मोर वुमेन रोल मॉडल्स, एंड रोल मॉडल्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आई एम सो प्राउड टू से 18वीं लोकसभा ये आखिरी लोकसभा है where you will find women underrepresented. Why? Because the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam is going to get invoked in 2029, and there will be 33% reservation for women in state legislative assemblies as well as parliament. इसका मतलब है अब कोई बहानेबाजी नहीं चलेगी. हर राजनीतिक दल को 33% आरक्षण अपने दल में भी 33% महिलाओं उम्मीदवारों को ही देना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि वो सीट्स रिजर्व्ड हैं, आपको महिला उम्मीदवारों को ही लड़ाना पड़ेगा। लेकिन इसका लार्जर सोशल इम्पैक्ट क्या है? इसका लार्जर सोशल इम्पैक्ट ये है कि मेरे देश की मातृशक्ति मेरे देश की भाग्य विधाता बनेगी, उसके नीति निर्माण में अपना योगदान देगी। और इसीलिए मैं आपको कह रही हूँ, द टाइम इज नाउ। I've often heard the future is female. Well, if the future is female, then the future is now. I can see that the timer is about to go off, so मैं अपनी वाणी को बहुत जल्दी विराम देने वाली हूँ, लेकिन इतना ज़रूर कहूँगी. The legal framework exists, gender biases exist. The only way forward to ensure that we are not talking about gender pay disparity or even gender justice 10 years from now is only possible if we make it a social movement. And I know that that is possible क्योंकि इस कमरे में बैठा एक एक शख्स अपने आप में एक सामाजिक क्रांति बनने का मादा रखता और रखती है. मैं हमेशा एक बात कहती हूँ सार्वजनिक मंच से, जब भी मुझे महिला सशक्तिकरण पे कहना होता है, मैं वो ज़रूर यहाँ पे भी कहूँगी. खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदी से ये पूछे, बता तेरी रज़ा क्या है. थैंक यू वेरी मच.